Welcome to a new update in which we are going to have a short update on one of my favorites and also Quentin, my Belgian friend, favorite coin, which is Chainlink. And Chainlink has announced that staking became live earlier this week. So what are we going to do? We're going to look at prices and we're going to look at a potential investment opportunity for Chainlink. And we will be updating this one regularly, of course. But before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also make sure to check out our 1 month for free if you sign up through our affiliate link with ByBit and deposit $100. If you deposit 1k, you will also be eligible for $100 for free. But in that case, you have to deposit 1k and make a future trade. And they are our partner for this YouTube update. Also, when we're looking at the price action of the markets, it has been relatively boring. Today, the first real number came out, which is PPI. I'll be covering that tomorrow. I'll be discussing the upcoming events as well and tomorrow's short update. Now, the markets have been boring, which ultimately gives you an opportunity to invest into projects that still are fundamentally growing and are fundamentally acting strong. And one of them, personally, I feel is Chainlink, which is announcing staking and have been launching staking, which is currently in early access version 0.1, which is an initial pool of 25 million, and that is available for staking. And I think that it's already filled at this point. But it started, it happened, and that's why Chainlink has been running up stronger than other assets in the past few weeks, and that's also why Chainlink has been seeing a very heavy corrective move in which we currently are still acting as support, but we are acting inside a range for a period of 210 days, which means that the price action is relatively boring. If we start to zoom out for Chainlink, we can conclude that we are into a period of accumulation, especially if you look at the Burj Khalifa pattern or the market cycle pattern. You can conclude that after something went down 90%, we are in a period where you can start accumulating your position. And yes, if we drop another 50%, it's now 95%, but if we drop another 50%, it's still time to accumulate the actual bag when it comes to Chainlink. And it has been into a bear market for approximately 18 to 19 months now already. Has not been making any new lows since June, and it's just consolidating right now. So it's within that range, and therefore you can look at potential levels. You can watch for entries. If you're looking at the other pairs for Chainlink, we can also look at Chainlink against Ether, which is ultimately looking like it wants to break out relatively soon. So Chainlink against Ether has been seeing a massive bear market for more than 2 years, as this is since August 2020. But right now, what do we see here? We are having a low in June, higher low, and we are getting a clear resistance structure here that is close to getting to a breakout. So the moment this starts to break out quite swiftly, you can assume that we're going to test the highs here, and then we're going to look at a run of approximately 50% or even more, especially since that we're going to crack through this resistance zone and have a continuation taking place on Chainlink. If you're looking at Chainlink against BNB, not much to say. Chart is still just barely up, but as well we can see that we are into a consolidation period here. Chainlink against Bitcoin, actually trending up since June as well, May to June. We are trending up. We are clearly making new higher highs and higher lows. So we have been facing crucial resistance here. We have been making these new highs, and therefore the area to watch personally is the area that we have here around 3600 sets. If that is going to hold, technically speaking, that's the first real area where you want to look for swing longs. Otherwise, you can also look at the area that is previously resistance and now becoming support, which is the area around 3900 sets. And then once we start to crack through 4600, we're going to look at a potential resistance zone, which is the area at 5800 points. That's going to be a run of 25%. So ultimately, Chainlink is looking good when it comes to price action. And now we have to divide that into the USDT chart. So what we are looking for is the current chart that we have here. It's at $6 is probably the level that you want to accumulate the actual bag. The second level we have is around the $6.60 level based on the daily time frame. technically speaking, you want to look for longs around $6, right? We've got the range resistance here, in which we were facing it again around $7.70. So anything in between, you can just buy the support and sell the resistance. Very simple strategy. In this case, if we start to zoom in a bit more, we have been falling down. Actually, we have been getting beautiful price action here. Rejection taking place at $7.60. Started to fall, lost support, and actually the first support was lost here, given that we have been taking out all the lows, bounced back up, rejected, and started to fall down. So this area is actually a long area, and we are currently acting into that, as we see with the current price action. If we're going to have another rejection at $7.10, drop back in, reclaim, that is your trigger, and then you can start assuming that based from this corrective move, we can actually start running towards $8.50 and potentially around $10. So based on the lower time frames, we are into a support zone here. We might sweep the low and reclaim. That's going to be a trigger. And the second zone that we have that I personally watch is the area around $6. So I think that the sell-off has been taking place due to the fact that Chainlink staking went live and more people were buying Chainlink to stake and they cannot get a position. So that's why the sell-off is a bit heavier. And second, markets have been correcting a bit, so that has been fueling the price action of Chainlink. But ultimately, this entire range is still a range where you want to get into a position. I hope you have been enjoying the updates. In the coming few updates, I'll be discussing my views on next week. Also, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll be back tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.